Okay, Rabbi, Erev Tov, we got Chametz tonight, so I'm just going to go through, right, what you have to do tonight. When you go home, after you say Kriyat Shema and you do Arvit and all that, right, next step is you're going to do Bedikat Chametz. So what are you going to do? You're going to light a nice candle, right, Shabbat candle, something like that, and you're going to put it on a plate, like this, and stick it to the plate. This way you can hold it, and like this, right, that's the best way to do it. Single candle, right, not multiple candles, just one candle. You light it up, and you make the bracha, right? Al bi'ur chametz. This is the blessing, right? And then you start the bedikah. You check every room in the house, right? Especially where places, where chametz is going to be, right? You got to check extra careful over there, in those places. But you should try to check every room, But if you know for sure, right, no chametz goes into this room, 100%. So okay, that's all right, You don't have to check that room, But in general, you got to check everything. So that's the way it is. You got to make sure, that everything is checked out. Check your car, check your office, check your store, check your your business, check your factory, whatever you got, right? Everything that belongs to you, go check it, right? Everything that's possible to do. So that's what you got to do,
Can you use other source of light or just?
I'm sorry? Yeah, you can have the lights on, They don't have to make the whole place dark. You know what I mean? Like some kind of, choshech mitzrayim. No, turn on the lights. But also use a candle, that's what we mean. The light should be on. Yeah. So then what do we need the candle for? If the lights are on, right? Because it gives you spotlight, that's the thing, Spotlight is different than general light.
Can we use other source of light? Or it has to be candle.
Candle is the best thing, yeah. This is what the rabbis made, Candle is that's what they made. Because it gives you spotlight, You check like those corners, everything, those little things, nooks and crannies. That's what you do, right? So you check everything, every little corner, every little place, every drawer, right? Check the fridge, check the cabinets, check the closets, blah, 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 right? Check your pockets also. You never know. Check your knapsacks, right? Make sure you check your kids' knapsacks. Better to use candle, Only if you don't have a candle, you can use flashlight.
If you have places that you cannot reach.
Yeah, the rabbis made candle. This was the takana, so it can do everything. It's a super candle. It's a super. Tradition. Yeah. There's a reason for it. There's a reason for everything. Whatever, But yeah, if you need to help you with the flashlight, yeah, of course, no problem. Why not?
What bracha do we say for the candle?
We say not for the candle. We say al bi'ur chametz. That's it. One bracha. Right, not for candle. It's not Shabbat candle. This is just for searching. Right. No bracha on that. No bracha on the candle. So you light it up. You go everywhere. Right? Once you finish, you go to every room. So then you're gonna take all the chametz that you need for tomorrow. For Shabbat, whatever. Right? Whatever you need, put it into one drawer. One place. This way you won't lose it. Don't scatter it around here and there. Then you forget where it is. You lose it. Then it's already missing. You got to do bedikah again. You got to check the house again. If you're missing something, that means somebody stole it, right? There was, I don't know, whatever it was, right? A little child or a little mouse, whatever it was, right? Or your dog, I don't know, whatever, right? I hope you don't have a dog. All right, hope you don't have a dog. So anyway, right? That's the way it is. So then once you finish everything, right? You make a bitul, right? Kol chamira dika birshuti liv til veleheve ke'afra de'ar'ah, right? Like this, you say, but you should say in a language you understand. So if you know Russian, say Russian. If you English, say English. If you know whatever language you know, right, you can say it in that language as long as you have it, right? Make sure you understand what you're saying. That's the whole thing, right? That's the whole point.
So what are you saying?
You're buttling it. You're nullifying the chametz. You're saying it's like dust of the earth. Nothing from me. That's what it is, Nothing from me. That's what you're saying. So the minhag is, we say it 3 times. Like this, right? And the last time, we say also, right, hefker, the word hefker. It's hefker, it's ownerless. Like this, right? This is what we do. Okay, so that's the way it's done. And once you make the bitul, as we said, right, put everything away in one nice place. And then, tomorrow, right, you're going to have breakfast, whatever, lunch, whatever, right? You can take that chametz, and use it, whatever. And if you're not going to have chametz on Shabbat, what you're going to do is, right, burn the chametz tomorrow, Like the rabbi's going to have a fire, right? So, you come and burn it, burn all your chametz, get rid of it. This is the best thing to do, If you can't burn it, there's also other ways you can get rid of it. You can put it in the garbage, in the incinerator, or you can put it in the toilet, whatever, right? Whatever, you flush it down. But burning is the best thing, If you can do burning, this is the big tikkun. They say, right? The kubalim, right? Whatever. So okay, whatever. It's all good, Baruch Hashem. It's all good, no problem. So this is what you do tonight, and then once you do that, everything is organized, so you know already what to do. But if you're going to have chametz on Shabbat, like me and Yonatan, right, we're going to have some chametz on Shabbat. No. So what we're going to do is, we're going to do the bitul on Shabbat again, right? But and we're going to do the biur chametz. We're going to flush it down toilet because we can't burn it. So this is the way you do it, depending on how you structure it. It's all good, Baruch Hashem. It's all good. Anyway, right. So we're going to get back to what do you call it? When does the bedika start? It starts at Tzedek Kochavim. So what does that mean? Shkiat HaChama tonight is like 7:30. So like 7:45 already you can start the bedika. 7:45, something like that, right? Start right away. Don't wait. Don't have a big seudah, big meal. First do the bedika and then you eat seudah. I mean, have a little snack, and now before if you're hungry, and then don't do seudah. Sit down on the table, because by the time you get up, you're going to be full and tired. You may fall asleep. God knows what's going to happen. You know what I mean? That's not the way to do it. That's not the proper way. Okay, that's the thing, So let's go back to what we said. Right, we're talking about yesterday. We said right, the Sfirat Omer. There's certain minhagim, that we're not allowed to do certain things because of the avelut. Let me ask you a question now. Is there avelut or no? These minhagim of avelut, right, that we do for Sfirat Omer. Is it also on the Chag?
Of course not.
You see what it says, right? So meaning what? On the Chag, there's no avelut. You cannot do avelut on the Chag. So what does that mean? On the Chag, you can listen to music, you can have dancing, you can have all kinds of things. Which Chag is coming up?
No, you said listen to music. Listen to music.
Chol HaMoed.
Oh, Chol
Yeah, of course. Yeah, why not? What's the problem, right? Okay, whatever. I won't get into it now. But anyway, the point is, right? You can. I hear some crickets over there. Crickets. Crickets. Can you go outside? Speak outside. You have to really shut the phone. You see what it says over here? It says you got to shut the phone when you're in the shul. Telephone.
Yeah.
So. Get telephone. Right, no telephone. Right, no telephone. You got to put it on silent mode. Because otherwise, you're interrupting everybody. Okay, so that's it. Okay, it's right there in front of you. So, as we said, right, that there are certain things you cannot do, but on the holiday, you're allowed to do, right? Singing, dancing, whatever you want to do, right? No problem, man. Nobody can tell you nothing. There's also, they have concerts, sometimes on the holiday. They have concerts. You can go to a Jewish concert, and hear some nice Jewish band, playing, There's no problem. They can celebrate and have a good time.
Omer.
Chol HaMoed, yeah, of course, yeah. Chol HaMoed, yeah. We're talking about from Tuesday, to Friday. Right? Tuesday to Friday, right? Chol HaMoed.
Tuesday to Friday.
Right.
But it's coming Omer, right?
Of course, we're counting the Omer on the second night. We're starting the second night, right? Which is which night? Sunday night, right? Sunday night, we're going to start counting the Omer.
Listen to music?
I'm sorry?
We can listen to music?
Yeah, because it's Chag, it's holiday. That we don't do Avelut on holiday.
Omer.
So which one takes over? Which one is stronger? The Chag is stronger than the Omer. You know why? Because Omer is just a minhag. But the Chag is the oraita from the Torah. Zdarovni. It's more Zdarovni, You understand? So it takes over. That's the way it is, When you have two people fighting, right? Who wins? The stronger one, he wins, right? The stronger guy. So here, the stronger guy is the Chag. You understand? So overpowers the Omer.
Not always.
This is
the Galilee.
I'm sorry?
They will kill the big guy.
God bless you.
The sling, right?
You know why? Because David was really stronger than him. That's the thing. He was stronger.
Mentally.
Also physically, he was also very strong. That's not only. He used to, they say about David, he used to go out, to the war, kill 800 people, in one day. 800 people with his own hands, he would kill. Can you imagine what he was? Not with a gun, I'm talking about with a sword. 800 people, he would kill them. So he's talking about David HaMelech, Gibor, he said. Not everybody's like that. Okay, right? You know what they say, right, about David? When he was a shepherd, he was guarding the sheep, came a lion, and a bear, and he killed both of them, with his hands, a lion and a bear. Can you imagine? With his bare hands, he killed them. This was David. Okay, I tell you, that's a different thing.
He was short guy, right?
It doesn't say he was short. You know, this is I think this is already kaska. You know, he was short and he was gingy. He was not gingy and he was not short. Not one, not this and not that. It's not true. Zeloimet. It's kaska. This is fables. You know what they say, right? So the truth is, you know, it says that no matter how big the guy is, you know, when he becomes melech, you know, when they put the oil on him, he becomes gadol. He becomes tall right away. You know, the oil, the anointing oil, you know, makes him gibor and tall and strong and, you know, zdarovnik. Oh, forget about it. You know, so whatever he may have been, when he became melech, he became melech. You know, and he was zdarovnik. You know, forget about it. Okay, that's the way it is. Okay. So anyway, let's get back to what we said, right? So we're talking about. So as we said, there's a few things, you know. On the holiday, we do everything. Right? Music, dancing, seudot, everything, right? No problem. Parties, mesibot, no limitations.
Can you work on
Yeah, so we talked about that already, you know, that it's better not to work on Chol Hamoed, right? If you can get off on Chol Hamoed, you know, if the boss will let you, right, try to get off, you know. He's the boss, right? So if he's your boss, then he'll let you, for sure. That's the thing, right? If he's your boss. So if the boss don't let you, you know, you're scared he's going to fire you. So you can go to work. What can you do? That's the way it is, right? What can you do? Okay, whatever, right? You get the idea. So anyway, as we said, that on holiday you can do anything except one thing, right? You're not allowed to shave. No shaving, no haircuts on the holiday.
33 days?
33 days, yeah, you know, until Lag BaOmer, right? Until Lag BaOmer. So that's the way it works, you know, that we have to make sure that we keep that, but the rest of it, you know, on the holiday it's all mutar, everything is mutar. But then once the holiday is over, there are certain things that we don't do, you know, on Sfirat Omer. One of them, as we said, right, no haircuts, no shaving. Number one. Number two, also, we said yesterday, right, we don't make parties, no dancing, right, no birthday parties, no this, right. Unless you have a seudat mitzvah, we said that yesterday, then you're allowed to do everything, right? If it's a bar mitzvah or brit milah, you can do everything, right? No problem. It's a mitzvah, you know. So it overpowers, right? The Omer, you know, it's more zdarovnik, it's more strong, you know. This mitzvah, right? It's stronger. So that's the reason why that's the reason why it is that way. Also, we don't make weddings, you know. Not allowed to get married at this time, right? Until Lag BaOmer, not allowed to get married. So if we have to close down, right? The wedding halls. Right, no activity over there going on, right? That's it. So it has to be all shut down, you know, whatever, as we said, right? So that's another thing we don't do. We don't get married, and so then, right, once Lag BaOmer comes, you're allowed to do weddings after that, right? No problem. There's no issue with that. Also, I want to tell you one more thing, you know, before we stop. Important thing is, you know, regarding, everybody always asks this question, you know, what about listening to music, Rabbi? Are you allowed to listen to music on the Omer, or is there, you know, so we said yesterday, you know, the truth is, in the Talmud, Shulchan Aruch, it doesn't say anything about this, you know, not to listen to music on the Omer. It doesn't say nothing about this. So where did this come from, this minhag, you know, not to listen to music? As we said yesterday, it came from the Magen Avraham. You know, Magen Avraham says, don't make parties, you know, with dancing. Right, you know? And Rabbi Moshe Feinstein also talks like that, you know, in his Tshuva, Yud Moshe. He says we're talking about parties and dancing, you know, things like this. But the truth is, you know, nobody talked about this to listen with their headphones, you know, nauchnikev, you know, there's headphones, to listen to some music on the headphones. There's no minhag like this, you should know, you know. So you can do whatever you want with your headphones, you know, with your, right, whatever, your devices, right, whatever, all kinds of things like that. Also, if a person wants to listen to music in his house, you know, just him, you know, his family, there's no problem with that. The problem is when you make a party, you know, mesibah, dancing, you know, good time, right, this kind of thing, party, right? That's what you're not allowed to do. Some people think, you know, if a person, let's say, you know, he wants to, you know, exercise, right? And he wants to exercise with music, you know? Always people ask me this question. There's no problem with that, right? We're not talking about this kind of music, you know, for exercising, you know? That's to make you to exercise better. And also, you know, sometimes people get depressed, you know? This is what problem with most of us today, you know, we're all depressed, you know, you know, we're down, you know, we're thinking about things, you know, we have all kinds of things in our head, you know, depression all the time depression, you know, unfortunately, this is our problem in this generation, you know, so if you don't allow a person to listen to music, you know, when he's depressed, you know, it's gonna have to go to Bellevue maybe, you know, and be admitted over there, you know, we're not talking about this kind of thing.
Gentleman asked me, you can do Sefar Torah that day?
What do you want to do?
Sefar Torah.
What is
It's
this?
a Sefar to the synagogue.
Oh, Hachanasat Torah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that, it's a mitzvah be'emet to bring a Torah, so there is a inyan to be mikkel with that. I think it should be allowed.
He can wait. He can wait. We told him to do it.
Yeah, also, what do you call it? Sudak Masechet can also wait. You can finish a Masechet later. But we don't tell you to wait, Do you finish now? Do it now, right? That's the time, whatever. Okay, whatever. There's room to talk about that. I don't want to get into this now. It's a discussion in itself, right? We'll talk about that privately, you and me, you and me, right? I'll buy 9. We'll talk about this.
Can you do
Yeah,
birthday
okay.
parties without music?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Make a seudah, just bring some food and, whatever. You can also sing, like verbally, do some, singing, like Bukharians like to do, right, all these kinds of stuff. You can do that. That's not a problem. Just don't bring, instruments, you know what I mean? That's the thing, that's the instruments is not allowed. But you can sing, whatever. Singing is not a problem. Again, right? No dancing, don't dance around, and go into circles, right? All kinds of things like this. This you're not allowed to do. But as we said, right, so it depends on what you're listening to music for, Let's say a person is a boss, right, and he has an office, or a store, right, whatever. And he needs to have music there, because it puts people in a good mood, in the job, That's okay. That's not a problem with that. This is not what we're talking about when we talk about music. We're talking about parties and dancing and, things like this, celebration. ברוך ה' לעולם, אמן ואמן. ויהי חנן כשומר, נעשה הקדוש ברוך הוא לעזרת ישראל, לפיך אפילו בא להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר באדוני חפץ, למען צדקו יגדיר תורה וידיר.